Hi everyone, welcome to another live writing stream. This is Misha Garrick, South African author of young adult and adult epic and urban fantasy fiction. And yeah, so in case you guys are wondering, yes, this is indeed quite early. I have needed to start at 3 p.m. my time due to unforeseen circumstances in the form of load shedding happening at 6 p.m. South African time, which means that at my usual at my usual time, I would basically be starting and just be working for an hour, and then no more internet, no more power, no more anything. So I decided to do this an hour, not an hour early, 2 hours earlier than I usually do it, in the hopes that I can at least get something out before the outage comes. But yeah, I do realize also at the same time that most of you guys are probably going to see this in a rerun because it won't be live, because most of you will only be waking up around the time when I usually start. So that is super annoying, and I'm really sorry that I didn't give you guys more notice about it, because I didn't know whether there will be an outage until last night, just before I went to sleep. So yeah, I really wish I could say that it won't happen again, but unfortunately, there's just no knowing, because this is a situation with our our country's only power utilities company not being able to supply enough electricity to supply the entire country, which means that they have to turn off electricity for certain municipalities at a certain time in order to keep the entire system alive, because if it actually dies, then we're all screwed. So yeah, that's fantastic and always good news, right? So yeah, I'm really frustrated and irritated about this right now, but there's not really much I can do about it, and there's not really much in the way of predictability around that, because they only let you know what the hours will be like 2 days ahead, but then they don't know you, or don't let you know whether the power is off or not until literally the day before, and sometimes not even the day before, but just like a few hours before. So anyway, the frustrations abound. So I see Pronounceable made it, so hello, welcome, and thanks for joining. So yeah, that's basically probably just going to be you and me for a while, but maybe some of the others will join in a little bit. But in the meantime, I think let's just start sprinting and see how much we get done before before I run out of time, because that is a realistic threat at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to set up a timer for 5 minutes for a warm up, and then we can get going. But before I do that, or while I do that, maybe just leave me a comment to let me know what you will be working on, and then yeah, get going. So, hello, Books with Kittens, welcome. Nice to see you here. Didn't realize you were going to make it. And Pronounceable says, that really sucks. Yes, it does. It really does. So, Books with Kittens, I don't know if you heard the whole spiel, but basically what happened is that we are having a scheduled power outage in 3 hours from now. So I had to make it early, otherwise I have no chance of actually doing a proper sprint or doing a proper write-in if I start at my regular time. Anyway. All right, so let me get the timer going because I got distracted. But guys, let me know what you guys are working on, or maybe just send me some messages while I activate. So Pronounceable says I need to rewrite another piece. Cool. That is so promising. That is my antivirus letting me know it can't access the server. So that's the other thing, just in case you guys are wondering if I suddenly freeze or disappear. That's also the power outage. It's just not in my town, but what happens is that power outages in the other municipalities are going to affect my network. So my internet might actually be so slow that I might disappear. And I apologize for that, but I decided to try anyway, but now you guys know. So yeah, I just saw that I got the first kind of warning that the internet is starting to slow down, and anyway. And Books with Kittens says, it's 2 p.m. here, so I don't actually mind it. Oh, good. Okay, that's always good. And, cool. And Pronounceable says, because as the protag's mom died, well, I killed her, she deserves a decent funeral. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's the least you can do for that character, poor lady. Alright, so let me activate the first 5-minute sprint. I'm going to count down, and then I'll see you guys in... Oh, goodness. Before we do that, one more comment. I will write the novel I've been meaning to write for like 3 years. I have to do the second draft plus the second half of the draft. Cool. And Pronounceable says, don't apologize for the power outages, Rock. Oh, thank you. Alright, so now, really, I'm counting down from 5, and then I will see you guys in 5 minutes, because this is a warm-up sprint, so let's go. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Time's up, guys. Let me know how you were doing. And I forgot to mention what I'm doing today. I'm working on my communication strategy. This time, my own one, the one that I've been threatening to get to for over a year. Yay! Okay, so that's me. And hi, Aphrodite. Welcome. Thanks for joining. And apologies for being so unexpectedly early. Yeah, there is a full explanation, like in the beginning of the video, as to what the hell is going on with me and why it is happening so early. But your choice if you want to go watch that. But I don't want to repeat it because I think I've done it so far 3 times already. So, but otherwise, just ask me a question and I'll send you a response in the comments. That will also work. But yeah, in the meantime, let me know how everyone did. And Aphrodite, let me know what you want to be working on for today's writing session. So yeah. And then Aphrodite just said, no worries, it's all good. Okay, good. Cool. All right, but Pronounceable says, I managed to start writing. For me, I'm currently going over my communications plan. So or not really the plan, the strategy part. So like the branding stuff and how I want to be communicating and things like that. But I wrote it like a really, really long time ago because I actually wrote this section before I wrote like the introduction of my communications plan. And I only finished the introduction part not last week, this week on, I want to say Thursday. So, yeah, it's a bit, I don't want to say outdated, but I don't know if it's outdated. So I'm reading it again to see how it's going. And Books with Kittens says, I wrote 71 words. I'm rewriting and editing the draft, so it's quite a slow process. Yeah, but for 5 minutes, 71 words is not too bad, especially when you've just started getting into it. Or maybe you haven't, but I mean, it's kind of my assumption. But it's a good amount of words for a start, I think. It's not too bad. And then Aphrodite also says, I'm preparing chapters to send to my alpha. Nice. Very nice. It's actually so funny when we talk about alphas and betas this way. I think like someone who's not a writer will come in and be like, oh, these are werewolves. Ah, yes. Sending it to the alpha. Oh my word. But yeah, just me being really weird. But yeah. Pronounceable says it's like 11 on my side. Cool. And a smudge because he's a lefty with a fountain pen. Nicely done. Smudges are important too. So, yeah. All right, so let's get into the next sprint. I am going to set us up for 10 minutes now. And then let's get going. Let's see how much we can get done before my power gets switched off. Because, of course, I'm not going to be annoyed about this all day long. I will not be annoyed about this all day long. Okay, so I'm going to count down from 5, and then I'll see you guys in 10 minutes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, guys, time's up. Let me know how you did. I got through my strategy stuff, but I think that I left it a bit thinnish, so I'm going to have to redo again. But yeah, oh well. But it's fine because I will rather do it properly and make sure that it works. But I think the idea of what I have in there is good, but I just need to refine a bit because the strategy that I did for my own stuff was actually the first one I've ever done. And since then, I've done quite a few. And I've been getting better and learning more about how to phrase things and all those kinds of things. And yeah, I think it's just going to be good for me to actually kind of rethink and redo the bits that feel like they need more work because it's going to help me if I have a good quality strategic section in my communications plan because that will actually help me generate content later on because it will help me think about what I need to actually share and how I need to share it and what the voice tone needs to be, stuff like that. So it's definitely uh, something that I want to do right, even not necessarily perfectly because I think that's impossible to do, but is a good idea for me to get it at like a very good high quality. Let's see. Books with Kittens says 303 words. Somehow there was a tiny bit of new writing too. Well done, well done. And Pronounceable says 60 words more, and now at least I know where I'm going from here. Awesome. Very good, very good. And Aphrodite says, still getting my chapters ready. Good, 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 good. You guys are doing great. I think for me now, I got through my plan, or through the strategy stuff I wrote before. But I don't think I'm going to be working on it today because I'm just going to spend this weekend to just kind of mull things over. I'll get into it this week because I've actually been writing in weekdays. Isn't that awesome? I'm actually making progress. Woohoo! So yeah, it's definitely yeah, feels like I'm actually getting stuff done and getting to a good place with my writing things and so on. So but yeah, Aphrodite says, yeah, don't stress that writing is hard enough. I agree. It is hard work to write, and adding stress to that just doesn't make it any easier. All right, so by the way, I forgot with the 5 minute one to ask, but if anyone wants to share excerpts, please be free to or feel free to do so. Yeah, I couldn't share now, but I'm probably going to spend the rest of the sprint rereading The Vanished Night, which is my published fantasy fiction novel. So I'm going to, oh gosh, fantasy fiction novel. That was so many redundancies. I don't even want to think about it anymore. But my fantasy novel. So I'm going to reread it because I am still trying to check because there was something in the third book, which is the actual one I should be working on, that's just not quite clicking right with me, and I'm feeling like it's something in the first two books somewhere that isn't right. So I just need to check it out and see if I can figure out where I was and if there's a train of thought that I ended up not picking up when I rewrote the third book again. So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to start doing now. So I might share some excerpts if you guys share some excerpts. So all depends on whether or not you guys want to share, because I don't want to be the only person sharing, because then it just looks like an ego trip, and that's not what I want this to be either. So yeah, anyway, that's kind of where I'm at, but let me know what you guys think. If you want to share excerpts, just copy a small section of your writing into the chat, and then I will select and read out loud and hopefully not butcher anything about names and place names and things like that. All right, so with that in mind, yeah, time for a 15-minute sprint. And I'm going to count down from 5, and then I'll see you guys at about, I want to say 17, let's see, sorry, 13 minutes to the hour is when we will be back. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. time's up, guys. Let me know how you're doing. I read about the chapter, so that wasn't bad. And lots of comments coming in. So let's see. First of all, hello, Firefly. Welcome. Thanks for joining. And especially since it's so early. So yeah. Yeah. Long story. I think it's possible for you guys to find out how, because I don't want to keep repeating. But yeah, still annoyed that I have a power outage coming up in a bit less than 2 hours. Anyway, so that's what's going on my side. And then Aphrodite was so kind as to share an excerpt, so I'm going to try reading it without butchering names. So, yay. I hate you. Ahriman begins. With every ounce of my being, I hate you, and I plan to hate you until the last breath escapes my lungs and Dukana claims my soul in eternal torment. I couldn't care less about you, your pathetic existence, or this demon-forsaken rock you bastards dwell upon. I am here because as much as I loathe the very thought of you, I despise Garn more. There's another from that same character that's just something Aphrodite said. I am many, many things, none of which brings me shame. But of all my lesser traits, I am not a liar. Nice. These are very cool quotes. Thanks for sharing, Aphrodite. And yeah, I really like this. This guy, this character seems like a see. That is why I asked. I asked for a pronunciation guide, and then I got it. But unfortunately, I've already butchered the names. One day I will manage it. One day. It's Ahriman, and Dukona, and gone. Cool. All right. So sorry about that. Damn. But yeah. All right. So from my excerpt. Oh, by the way, just while we're talking, everyone is still welcome to share excerpts that they are working on, and I'll read them out loud and try not to butcher the names. But yeah, maybe what we should do is say if there's an excerpt and it's not plain like names that I will definitely get correct, just kindly leave me like a like in brackets a pronunciation idea so that I can read that and get the name right. So yeah. Aphrodite says he's a mess. Of course he is, but that's why I love him. I like messes. The messes are awesome in books. It's the best. They are the best. My favorite, even of my own characters. Yeah, they're all messes, like in various ways. I love messes. Messes are awesome. But anyway, and then Aphrodite also said you did great. Oh, thanks. I'm glad you think so, because I wouldn't want to feel like I'm insulting the writer. But yeah. All right. So more excerpts always welcome. So please do share them. I'm going to share a little bit of my book, but note this is a published book already, so not the same as reading a draft, but it is what I'm working on because I am reading it. So I think it kind of qualifies. I hope you guys think it qualifies. But yeah. And then and Naked Firefly, don't forget to let me know what you're working on because I haven't asked you yet. So just yeah, let me know. But yeah. Otherwise, just how did you guys do and how's it going? Let's see. I'm getting some feedback. I'm thinking it might be lag again from YouTube, but we'll see. Books with Kittens says, I wrote 399 words. My favorite quote in this sprint is, yes, excellent job, young magician. Nice, well done. Thanks for sharing. Yay, you guys are doing so good. All right. Okay, so I'm going to share a quick excerpt while I'm waiting for some comments to come in from YouTube, because I'm assuming there's a delay between YouTube and StreamYard. So I'm just going to read a little bit and then see what you guys shared with me. So let's see. Aphrodite says, got distracted, laugh out loud. Ah, yes, distraction. I know the feeling. I know thee well, distraction. You fiend. So, yeah, that's me, being a dork. Okay. Naked Firefly says, I'll be handwriting, probably working on the middle grade fantasy today. Very cool. I also handwrite, especially when I'm drafting. Yeah, so I think it's the best way to write, especially if you're trying to like get into your subconscious. It's just like doo-doo-doo. It's not as I don't know why typing just doesn't work the same for me. Anyway, all right. So just going to start. I'm not going to scroll back to where I was. Just going to continue because that way I actually cover more ground. Cheating, best thing ever. All right. So yeah, James wanted to laugh and cry at the same time. He plopped down by an empty dining table and rubbed his temples. Luckily, the lunch crowd had thinned. Nareen had failed him. The urchin would stay. All because Nareen was stupid enough to push Claire's buttons. Shit. He dug his nail into the old dining table's wood grain, listening to the hushed whispers around him. It wouldn't be long before Callan's frame-up fizzled out. As soon as Nareen admitted to the principal what she'd done, news would spread that the poor little orphan had been set up, and Nareen would. No one crossed Claire on the warpath. Suddenly James didn't feel all that hungry. He stood up and pulled his blazer straight. Some younger girls giggling about him over their stale food, or giggled about, oh goodness. See, I don't know how that happened. I have been editing this book so many times. Some younger girls giggled about him over their stale food. His lips lifted into a small smile. Things were still okay. Not ideal, but not too bad either. He sauntered out of the dining hall, glancing around for Ward. No sign of him. James would find him sulking somewhere. Ward hadn't been happy about playing a part in Callan's expulsion. No, that was an understatement. He'd been furious. Okay, I'll stop there. Right, so no new comments from you guys, so I'm just going to set up a new sprint. So the last one was 15 minutes, and therefore I will move it up to 20. And then I'll see you guys at 1:15. So good luck, and let's see how much we can get done. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. time's up, guys. Let me know how you guys are doing. And yeah, I'm just chugging along. I'm about just under halfway through the first book so far, so making progress. Yay! Terry said, "Hope you all have a productive writing day." Thanks, Terry, and thanks for dropping in. Just I hope everything's going well on your side as well. Yeah. All right. So by the way, if anyone wants to share excerpts, please do. Just the normal drill, copy paste into the chat little section, and then I'll read it for you guys in my very weird South African accent. Cool. All right. I'll just read a little section of mine while I wait for feedback from the chat, because there's definitely a delay again. So let's see. A shot of excitement ran through James. "Are we taking those stairs?" Later, Pip said. "First, we need provisions." James's heart thumped harder. For 8 years he'd wanted to go up those steps. Now would be his chance. To think, Pips would never have let him in if it wasn't for Callan. "Why are you taking us with you?" James asked. "Why didn't you just go to whatever the name was?" "Karen," Ward cut in helpfully. "Thank you, Karen. Why didn't you just go there alone?" Phipps waved the question aside with a scowl. "Boy, you need to ask the right questions." "What right questions?" James demanded. Frustration etched into his voice. "Better?" James growled under his breath and bit his tongue. Phipps led them down another set of steps and into a storeroom. Shelves upon shelves stretched so far James couldn't find the other 3 walls. He ran his hands along soft tapestries and cool metallic plates. He picked one up. His eyes widened with recognition. It was solid gold. He gently replaced the plate and jogged to catch up with the others. After 30 minutes, Phipps stopped and faced him. "Before we go on, we have to settle something between us. I want your word you'll do what I say, always." James scowled. Constant obedience to Phipps sounded like a prison sentence. "Mr. Phipps, your word, James." All this was happening too fast to even make sense, but the sooner they got Callan back, the better. Arguing with Phipps would just be a useless delay. "Fine, I promise." "Me too," Ward said. Phipps shook his head, but still reached for the bundles of clothes and handed a heap to each of them. "Take off everything you own and put these on. Leave your things on the shelf. I'll be right back." James dropped the rags with a grimace. A mysterious smell rose from the heap. He cast a despairing look to Ward, who was already undressing. "Well, they did promise to obey." "Bloody hell," James grumbled, pulling off his shirt and putting on the dull brown one Fitz had given him. It sat much too loose and long, hanging all the way to his knees. He smelled the long sleeve. Wet dog. His skin started to itch. The shirt probably had fleas. James cringed and scratched everywhere he could reach. Okay, I'll stop there. Pronounceable says he got 252 words more. Very good. Very good. And Books with Kittens, 323 words. I already added like 300 words to the original draft. Nice. Well done, guys. You're doing awesome. And don't forget to share excerpts if you want to share. But yeah, in the meantime, I'm going to set up the next sprint. It's going to be a 25-minute one, and then we are going to start going backwards. So either until we get back to 5 minutes or until I run out of steam or you guys have to leave. So yeah, that's basically how this works this way around. By the way, if you guys haven't yet, I would really appreciate if you take a second to just hit the like button or the subscribe and notification bells, because yeah, so that it pleases the algorithm gods and so that you guys can actually hear the next or find out the next time I have an update. So yeah, that's basically it for admin with regards to that. I'm not going to keep asking, but yeah, it would really help me out. All right, so I'm going to count down and then I'll see you guys. If you want to share an excerpt, you can still do that. Don't take my starting a sprint as a closing of the invitation, I just scroll back and check what went before I activated the sprint. So yeah, that's basically it. So I'm going to count down from 5, and then I'll see you guys in 25 minutes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. Time's up, guys. Let me know how you did. I am making steady progress. I got through another section, and Aphrodite was kind enough to share another excerpt, so I'm going to read that. Okay. Sin takes off running just fast enough to avoid capture. Just as he is sure his distance is secure, he peeks back to see that she is indeed still in hot pursuit. He laughs and turns to run again. When he is hit square across the chest by what felt like a tree trunk coming out of nowhere, he meets the ground hard. By the gods, Sin swears. He looks up to see Daylor and Leary staring down at him, laughing. I don't know if I should laugh or feel pity, Daylor says as he offers his hand to assist him. How is it you always manage to fall for her stupid traps? Stupid, Leary barks. It is not stupid if it works. Well then, let me rephrase then, he turns to Sin. Why are you so stupid? I like this one. I think I've read it before, but I like it. I still like the interaction. It's very cool. And I like this very much. I like the interactions. Nice banter. Right, so let me know how you guys did in the sprint. How much did you get done? And then while I'm waiting for the responses, then I'll also read a bit of my own as well. There was actually something I wanted to share, but I've read so many pages now since then that it's going to take me too long to scroll back, so I'll just go on from where I am right now. Yeah, it's kind of the thing about me reading. I read about, I want to say, almost 30 pages from where I was just 15 minutes ago, so yeah. Right, let me just scroll up a little bit. Okay, Callan groaned with impatience but couldn't help smiling. It hurt. She lifted her hand to touch her cheek, but he slapped it down. I wouldn't if I were you, he warned, the corners of his mouth lifting slightly. The draft I gave you wore off. Draft? He squinted in concentration, spreading the balm over her nose. Everywhere he touched, an ache or jab of pain made itself known before it numbed under the chill seeping through her skin. Well, you had cracked ribs. You needed something for the pain until the balm could take effect. Cracked ribs? She did an inventory of her injuries. There was the grazing from when she was tackled, the cut, the hit to her face, the smash to the floor, she moaned. How could she avoid attention with a wrecked face? I must look like a... Gawain grinned, his fingers working beneath her eye. Well, yes. You didn't lose any teeth, though. The bruise complained despite his light touch. Surprising, given that you fought like a dragon. Like a dragon? Should I be insulted? Maybe you'll meet one day. One day. Then you'll know. Yeah, right. He just shook his head and smiled. You spread the last of the balm down over her neck. So what now? He couldn't quite disguise his wince fast enough. Well, I'll go find something for you to wear and eat. What's wrong with what I have on? When she finished asking, she realized she only wore the bandage around her chest and the blanket someone had thrown over her. Heat shot up her cheeks and she gasped, trying to wrap the blanket more securely around her body. The fast movements sent pain drumming through her torso. Okay, I'll stop there. Okay. Let's see. Comments. Okay. Books with Kittens wrote around 350 words. Very good. Pronounceable says approximately 200 words. They were hard to write. They're even harder to count. Good. Aphrodite says, I love Dale or laugh out loud. Good. It's always good when you love your own characters. It means it's more likely that your readers will too. And then Pronounceable says, love for characters starting with names, starting with D seems to be a thing here. Why, yes, indeed, it is. It is very much a thing. Not going to elaborate further on that. But I mean, to be fair, I also love characters with names starting with G and with N and with R and with C. Yeah, I love weird characters. But yeah, it's fun. All right, so guys, I think I'm going to run out of speed, but really what it's about is that I think I want to give myself enough time to just talk with you guys a little bit before I have to finish up. And so I don't think I'm going to do many more sprints. I think, let me just check where I was. So it was 25 minutes. So I'm just going to do 20 minute sprint next, and then we'll check back in with each other before we say goodbye. All right, so I'm going to count down from 5 and then see you guys. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and go. And don't forget excerpts if you still want to share them. Okay, time's up, guys. Let me know how you did. And yeah, I am almost through another chapter on my side. Let me scroll back for comments. Da-da-da-da. Okay. Okay, another excerpt from Aphrodite, so I'm just going to read that. Okay. A face, female and slight, comes into view and he stops in front of her. He's surprised that she doesn't scamper away at the mere sight of his deformed visage. Instead, she chants, "Born to us are saviors, we need not fear," over and over again, without a clear thought to do so. Arimon grabbed the poor thing, snapped her neck as if it were a mere twig. She fell to the ground in one heap at his feet. No sooner was she silenced than did the chant start up on the other side of the cavern. He could not see who it was, but he needed to silence him. Quickly. Once he found him and made short work of him in the same manner as the girl. And just like before, when he was silenced, another disembodied voice picked up the slack. Ugh. And then Aphrodite said, "I'm still struggling with that scene, actually needs work." Too many adverbs. Yeah, but for a draft, I think it's good. It's creepy as hell. Creepy, creepy, creepy. Ugh. Alright. And then you cannot silence them, Mirbach. A gentle voice chimes in through the madness. Arimund turns to where it came from and holds his torch still in hopes to catch the frame of the person speaking. Not that he needed to. He knew full well that it was Lida. They will gladly give their life. You cannot hurt them, no matter what heinous ideas you come up with. Eee. I don't give a about your subjects, and if they will gladly die, then so be it. I may die here, Mirbach, but you won't be so lucky, Lida says, as she falls back into a crevice away from his torchlight. Nice. Hey DL, welcome. Hey everyone, he says, sorry I'm late, been working. It's not really you being late, it's me actually being really, really early, so I'm afraid that you actually caught us just as we are starting to wrap up. I have a power outage in about 45 minutes that I cannot avoid because we have a monopoly for a power supplier and they cannot supply the power. Fantastic, right? So, yeah. Then Aphrodite also says, now DL Stewart can really write a wicked scene. Yeah, he's really good at that. And Pronounceable says 140-ish words. Very good. And Ava says, hey, I'm way late today. Were you early? Laugh out loud. Yes. I'm sorry. You guys, I tried to let everyone know that I'm starting early, but the problem was that I actually didn't find out that I would have a power outage until past literally as I was going to sleep last night. So yeah, couldn't give you guys more advance warning. I will try to do so next time, but I'm honestly just wishing and hoping that the power outages stop. So that would be really nice. Aww. And then I feel so deprived of Misha stream time. I'm sorry. Yeah, I know. I missed you guys as well. It was awesome with everyone who was here, but I mean, it's always cool to write with the same kind of group of people. But unfortunately, it was kind of, for me, it was a call I had to make of either starting early and then at least have a video done, or have basically a situation where I start at 5 and I have to finish at 6 because 6 o'clock is when the power is going to go off, and then it won't come on again for 2.5 hours after that. So, yeah, fantastic, right? And yeah, Ava says, no worries, I'll rewatch the first sprint so that I have my Misha Good Mornings on my opening sprint. Good. Good. Always a good idea. All right. So, any last excerpts? If you want to share an excerpt, now is the time. I'm going to read a little bit of mine, and then yeah, then we can see how that goes. And then I am afraid for DL and Ava that I'm going to have to say goodbye. So yeah. All right. So okay. Gawain put his hand on hers. Are you really going to give me a cold shoulder? He asked Nordian. Its lilt made his voice too damn sexy. Callan clamped a jaw. He released a sigh. As you wish. After a while, he started to sing a song her father had used to lull her to sleep. Await me, beloved, for I will come home soon. Wait for me when I come to your arms. Wait, darling, for winter's cold to subside. I return, bearing spoils of battle. Please, Caroline, say something, Gawain begged. How could she say no to that? You have a nice voice, she muttered. The soldiers around him picked up the rest of the song. So do you. Callan frowned. You've never heard me sing, but I've been dying to hear. Oh gosh, sorry, that line. Okay, but I've been dying to hear you speak again. I'm sorry, that guy has so many lines. I keep and because I haven't like looked at this in about 3 years, I'm a bit like it sometimes just hits me out of the blue. So because I haven't read this yet, I'm reading new parts for you guys. She snorted derisively at his overt flirtation. He chuckled and sang with the rest of the soldiers again. The song seemed to go on for hours, and Callan drank it in. So many happy memories came to her as the music continued through the ride, but one word kept repeating itself. Lies. The song trailed off little by little as the rumble of horses' hooves dwindled to the sounds of a few individual riders. Fair lady with your bright shining eyes, I have come carrying chests of gold. Marry me, my heart's only treasure. Make our home away from winds of war. By the last line, only Gawain's and Kayla's voices remained, and the horse came to a stop. Someone removed her blindfold, and sunlight blinded her. When the glare subsided, she only saw Kayla with him, blindfold in hand. All right, going to stop there. So, yeah. And yeah, so, let's see. Aphrodite says, thanks for reading my madness. Yeah, I love reading your madness, lady. Come on. And DL said, I'll go ahead and share something from book 1 of my Metagore series, which is already published. Cool. Since I'm doing the same thing, I can't say no. So, lost in the bloodlust of battle, Douglas didn't notice the shrinkage of his army. His only concern was landing his next blow. During his assault, an arrow impaled him, knitting his chaperone and neck together, but he stayed persistent with his attacks. His shield has absorbed many fatal blows, leaving his body fatigued from the vibration of the impacts. As he pressed onward, another metal bolt pierced his skin, this time penetrating through a slit in his visor and embedding itself in the upper portion of his nasal cavity. Ouch. Ouch. His face throbbed with pain, and his eyes puddled with moisture, but his swings never faltered, receiving and delivering as many blows as his blows to the enemy. As he slashed through the abdomen of two golden men, a faint shout shattered his focus. Daggers looked to his left. His young squire, just 500 strides away, was on his knees, arched over as he tried to pull an arrow from his fragile wrist. Oh. Ava just left a comment saying Misha has nice prose, sounds very scholarly, or perhaps that's the accent, makes it sound posh. Laugh out loud. Yeah, I don't know. I hope it's not too scholarly, but yeah. Okay, so I stopped reading because I was waiting to see if DL is sharing more, but no, I think not. But yeah, poor guy. Painful. It sounds like a horrible experience to have like an arrow go through your nose. Ouch. And then Aphrodite says, see, DL Stewart is the bomb. Yeah, he is very good. And then Pronounceable says it's the posh accent. The prose is way too good for scholarly. Oh, thanks. Oh, thanks, guys. All right, so yeah. Since I only now have about 40 minutes left to power outage, I am going to say goodbye and thank you to everyone who did join, even you guys who stopped like or came in at like the real like close to the end, because yeah, I really wish I could have spent the afternoon with all of you because you guys are so awesome. But yeah, unfortunately it's out of my control. So hopefully next week I will do this again, but probably, hopefully, gosh, I hope so, back to my normal schedule, which is 5 p.m. South African time, 11 a.m. Eastern. But failing that, I will start at 3 p.m. South African time, which is 8 a.m. Eastern. So yeah, it's up in the air at the moment because I have no idea when the load shedding is going to stop. Yeah, they said that it might be intermittently happening for the next 18 months, which just breaks my heart to think about. But yeah, hopefully I can figure out a way around it and it won't be that disruptive. But yeah, the best way to figure this out would be to just make sure that you have a notification activated for this channel so that the moment I have the thing scheduled, you guys will know. So that would be good. If you haven't yet, please do that, and also just hit like and or subscribe. I would appreciate that. And that's basically my story for now. Just reading some of the more comments that's been coming in while I was talking. Ava says, I don't see scholarly as bad or unreadable. Laugh out loud. Less Canterbury or Shakespeare, more Austen or Carroll. Oh, those are nice ones to be compared to. Aphrodite says, you may need to do the audio version of my books, Misha. Well, I mean, maybe one day. And then Ava says, enjoy your day, Misha. You too, guys, all of you. I hope you have an amazing day and a very productive week. And then I will see you guys on Saturday, hopefully. Love you all. Bye. Oh, gosh, so many buttons.